Okay, so we are going to make a 2-to-1 multiplexer using the Xilinx ISE package. I have version 14.2. So we are going to go to New Project and name it whatever you want to name it. I'm going to name it 2-to-1 multiplexer. And then you make it whatever file you want to make it. I already have a file set for my multiplexer. Make sure down here it says HDL. So here, make sure that it says Spartan 3 and family, and then this S500 and device. Everything else should already be how it should be. And then we're going to finish, and we're going to go up to project. We're going to make a new source. It will be a Verilog module, and you will name this whatever you want. I'm going to name it the same thing as I just named the last thing. Okay, next. So now you're going to put in your inputs and outputs. So in a multiplexer for 2-to-1, you have 2 inputs, a select, and 1 output. So I'm going to make A and B my inputs, and I have a select bit, and then my output is going to be Z, and make sure you press output over here. And next. We're going to finish it, and then we'll come up with a nice little test sheet over here. So here we want to complete this right here. We're going to insert. We have a reg, my output is Z. And then what I'm going to do now is just state what happens to Z depending on A and B and the select. So always at A or B or S. Okay, so again, this is going to be if you have S naught, that's what I'm typing right now, then your Z will be equal to A. And that is because on multiplexer, whenever your selector bit is a 0, then your first input will go to the output. So then else your Z is equal to B. Because right now on a 2-to-1, all you have is 2 different options for your selector bit. So if it's a 0, then A will go to the output. If it's a 1, then B will go to the output. And then I'm going to put in an end, and then ed module will also stay there. So right now I'm going to go up to simulation right here, and I am going to check my syntax. Whoever went. Oh, I have to press on this one. So I'm going to check my syntax. Save changes. My syntax is good, and then I'll show you what happens right now before we make our second one. So right now this window will pop up, and this is where you'll go whenever we complete it. So this button up here is kind of to zoom in. See how nothing really changes right now? So we are going to fix that with another project. So we will go up to project, new source, or sorry, another source. So Verilog module also, and I'm going to name this one test. You can name it whatever you want. And we also have the same A, B, S, and Z. And make sure you put output on the Z because that's our output. Finish, and we'll come up with basically the same thing over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just change what we have right here to just kind of like to make sure that it will go through in the end. So I'm going to make all of these regs, and these are our inputs. So I have reg A, reg B, reg S, and then I'm going to make my output. So now I have a wire Z. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to kind of just link it to our other file. So I'm going to 2-to-1 mux. So this is whatever you just named your last file. And then this is what is going to link it. And now I'm just basically going to like restate my variables. So I have A. I'm not honestly quite sure what this does, but you need this in order for the file to run. So once you have that, then we are going to do our begin. So we have an initial begin, not caps lock. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to just make our inputs be whatever we want to be so that we'll have every single combination. So I want to check what will happen whenever my selector bit is 0 with all of my combinations of A and B. And then I'm going to check what will happen whenever my selector bit is a 1, depending on all of the combinations of A and B. So I'll go ahead and select my selector bit equals 0, my A equals 0, and my B also equals 0. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to pause for 100 nanoseconds. That's what that I just wrote is. And then, so now we're going to select, okay, I want my selector bit to still be 0, and I already stated that. So now I'm going to try inputs A equals 0 and B equals 1. A is already 0, so I'm going to do B equals 1. I'm going to pause another 100. And then I want to check, okay, what's next? So we have 0, 0, we have 0, 1, so now let's do 1, 0. So I'm going to set my A equals 1 and my B equals 0. And I'm going to pause for another 100. Okay, so now one more combination we have to do A equals 1 and B equals 1. My A is already 1, I just stated that, so now B equals 1. Okay, so now we've tried every combination 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1 for my selector bit equals 0. So now I'm going to pause another 100, and I'm going to try everything again with my selector bit equals selector bit equals 1. So now, since I already basically went through all of the combinations, I'm going to go ahead and copy paste this right here and just put it underneath the selector bit equals 1. So now we have just inputted this part right here for the selector bit equals 1. So now I have selector bit equals 1, I have A equals 0, B equals 0, and then A equals 0, B equals 1, A equals 1, B equals 0, and A equals 1, B equals 1. So now we have every combination of our selector bits and the A and B. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to check my syntax for this one. Oh, first I have to put end here because we had a begin in the beginning. Okay, so make sure you have end module here also, that you didn't delete it. So check syntax, save it. Alright, it went, there's a check mark there, and if you're not seeing this window, it's probably because you don't have simulation checked or that you're not selecting the name that you're under. So now I've checked my syntax, I'm going to go ahead and simulate. Alright, this window pops up again, and this little button zooms to the right amount, and nothing happened. Let's see why. Okay, so I went back in and I double checked everything, and I caught a few things that I didn't do correctly the first time. So go ahead and exit that where you're supposed to see the waveform, and you're going to replace this with this right here, and then add some commas. What we're doing right now, I'm not quite sure which one of these things is required to make the whole program work, but we're going to change everything just in case. Okay, so once you have completed the things that I've completed right here, going down to the bottom, and we're going to delete this last pause. Okay, so now we are going to save, And we're going to check our syntax again to make sure that everything is okay. And then it said completed successfully down here, so we'll go ahead and try again. Alright, this window should pop up, and we should click this, and there is our waveform. So this is telling us, okay, we have our selector bit 0 and then 1, just like we wanted. And then throughout this 0, we have 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1. And as you know, the multiplexers, whenever you have a selector bit of 0, your A should go through to the end. So selector bit is 0, whatever A is, goes to the output. Correct. Okay, so now we're going to double check our selector bit 1. B should go to the output. So we have selector bit is 1, then we have 0, 1, 0, 1. Our output is 0, 1, 0, 1. So we know that everything went alright. So that was how to implement the 2-to-1 multiplexer in the HDL code on the Xilinx ISE. If you have any questions while you're going through this project, my office hours are 11 to 12 on Monday and Wednesday, and then that's in the EE Computer Lab. And you can also email me anytime you want. My email is christy.horwedel@ttu.edu, and whenever this posts, I'll probably have my name on there too, just so you know how to spell it. So good luck on your project.